Hey peeps, this is Kizu. The 2v8 game mode's second iteration has been in DBD for a good bit of time now, and I think I'm ready to form how I feel about it. In short, I feel like it's largely failed to achieve its stated goals, but its failures are quite interesting, and the ways behavior have gone about trying to address them are quite interesting. Now, this isn't to say you are legally barred from enjoying 2v8 and having fun. Some people even enjoyed versing 1.0 Skull Merchant, and this is in comparison to 2v8. It's just an example of how wildly different the definitions of fun for people can be. My original evaluation for 2v8 was that it was objectively terrible, due to Survivor not being fun compared to Killer, which would lead to extremely long queues. I made that evaluation before the game was even released to quite the controversial reception from the YouTube audience. People seem to be immensely upset that I dared to critique a game that was so fresh and so exciting for them, perhaps because they saw it as taking their fun away. Maybe now, with the second revision of the mode receiving much more mixed reviews and not reaching the heights of popularity, let alone the lengths at which the original enjoyed, we can perhaps more critically evaluate what 2v8's big problem is. So, what's the issue with 2v8? Killer players, for whom this mode is the most novel, don't seem to be complaining about anything during the actual game, just the queue times. Just like I'm complaining right now about the fact that almost all my viewers are unsubscribed and haven't liked this video. So if you're feeling interested right now, feel free to drop a like and subscription and help me make more videos like this one. Anyway, killers hate the fact that they spend from 10 to upwards of 25 minutes just queuing for a match, only for that match to be at best as long as their queue took them, leading to a 50% playtime of the actual game at best. Why is that? Some content creators like Scott John have argued it's because Killer is too fun and novel and the mod is suffering from its own success. I think that's wrong, and it's only an opinion held currently by a decent chunk of people purely due to how little time they've had to play this game mode. If you ask what people find fun about the game, the most common answer is the chase. Sure, some killers go about it a different way, but at the end of the day, at the core of a PvP game, the main thing is direct player-to-player interaction. When we want people to have fun in our PvP game, we want both sides to have a reasonable agency to succeed via ways they are engaging. You want to make sure the path to winning in FPS, for example, is not by optimizing the way your loadout functions for some specific game objective, but instead largely by a player's ability to, well, outplay the other party, be it with positioning or just plain mechanical skill. The important part about trying to fix an unfun gameplay experience is that you can't focus purely on the bounds of experience, as often the two aren't correlated at all. For example, in Team Fortress 2, the Heavy has an unlockable minigun called Natasha, which has only two attributes, less damage and slowing the other players on hit. It's a terrible minigun, as the damage penalty makes it very underwhelming, but people hate going against it, because it can nearly eliminate one of the core and most fun aspects of TF2, the movement. A weak unlock finds itself on blast purely because it removes another player's agency. Now, what does this have to do with 2v8 and Dead by Daylight? Well, as I explore my tangent, most often something is less fun due to taking away a player's agency. Does anything in 2v8 feel like it could possibly take away Survivor's agency feeling, potentially contributing to a pretty much non-existent player base of Survivors in this game mode, when it requires a disproportionately high amount of Survivors, thus eventually leading to a terrible experience for all sides involved that leaves one side having nothing interesting to do in their matches, while the other spends at least half of their game time on the lobby screen? Well, yes! It's the two-part in 2v8. DBD's chase loop was never designed with two killers in mind, and just doesn't work at all. A survivor is supposed to be at one side of a loop, the killer at the other, and we need to guess where the other side is going to be to hopefully either lose or catch the other party. This whole thing doesn't work at all when you have two killers sandwich, or even better, double tap a survivor, leaving them with absolutely no agency in the whole experience. While in normal 1v4 DBD, you can always argue that even if the killer reduces your micro gameplay agency, the chase, there is still always a lot of macro choices you can make as a survivor, and that a lot of people can still find appealing. However, since there's 8 survivors, your personal impact on the macro scale is lessened massively. Again, this is an issue of balance. It's an issue of unfun gameplay for one side, making things sad for both sides, even different ways. Killer players, if you want to actually be able to play this game mode, you want these things to be fixed. So how would one go about fixing this? Well, BHVR tried to fix it by giving Survivor ultimate abilities that range from extremely mid to busted, and passive abilities that also range the same. Unfortunately, while those things are kinda busted and can be fun in a Swift setting, while playing solo, they can be rather underwhelming. They also made flashlight and palette saves exist again by lazily copying the anniversary remote hook of all the bugs that it included and didn't even bother to remove the particle effects. Lamau. It also feels quite janky from the killer side to weirdly lurch in place before hooking the survivor. Finally, we added a small catch-up mechanic that slightly speeds up or slows down generator progress depending on how many generators have been completed and how many survivors have been hooked. The only thing this ended up achieving is make killer games harder while attracting no more players to Survivor, as the gameplay experience really wasn't that novel and still made chases often irrelevant. BHR curiously decided that they would experiment with lowering Survivor incentives while queues were still terrible, instead opting to host a free weekend and a Blood Feast, a triple blood points event that deployed rather often lately to boost player numbers, to see if they can bump the player numbers to resolve the queue time issues. Which, no didn't. Okay, so clearly making Survivor, especially Swift, more powerful isn't the solution. So how do we make this experience more fun for Survivor while maintaining some semblance of balance and not losing killer fun? I don't know, actually. I personally think that the whole game mode is unlikely to ever function the way some people believe it might. If I was to such a solution, it's that we need to make Survivor novel as well as killer. Make generators completely different, new interactions with them, make seeking out chests that you have to unlock for the mining game a worthwhile time, give out baseline boosts. So seeking out totems is also not useless. Just add and add and add and add to what survivors can do. And I don't mean buff, buff, buff. For example, if we had parts you'd seek out to speed up gens, we'd slow down non-part repairs to compensate. Booting a totem would inherently require a survivor to stick off gens and parts to go find a totem, and at effects, it could even go out automatically. Chests could spawn items that encourage silly plays like juice blight serum medkits, such as flashlights, multiple use flashbangs, that kind of stuff. Essentially, use 2v8 as a game design space to experiment with radically altering the survivor gameplay loop. Make it novel, make it fun, and make it compete with the killer experience on how different it feels compared to regular DBD. That way, both sides are excited to queue up for their favorite roles. Anyway, these are my 2 cents on 2v8 and DBD, and I don't expect this opinion to change anytime soon. Thank you to Sojus and Uning for supporting me on Patreon. It's thanks to viewers like you I'm able to keep making videos. If you want BTS to do a lot of my videos, get announcements of my plans, a special Discord role, and shoutouts like these among other things, click on the link in the description. I'm really good at these segues. Thank you to everyone for watching. I bid you adieu. I bid you my adieus. I do my adieus. Bye, I mean.